नमो नमः। षष्ठश्लोकस्तु चर्चित आसीत्। अधुना सप्तमात् आरम्भं कुर्मः। मनस्ते पादाब्जे निवसतु वचस्तोत्रफणितौ करौ चाभ्यर्चायां श्रुतिरपि कथा कर्णनविधौ तव ध्याने बुद्धिर्नयनयुगलं मूर्तिविभवे परग्रन्थान् कैर्वा परमशिव जाने परमतः। मनस्ते ते मनः पादाब्जे निवसतु। सर्वत्र निवसतु इति क्रियापदम् उदाहर्यमस्ति। मम मनः ते अर्थात तव पादाब्जे तव मम सहस्रार चक्र द्योतक तव पादाब्जे मम मनः निवसतु। मे my mind rest in the divine chakra, the divine splendor of energy, the fountain of all energy and divine cosmic radiance uh, in your feet, which is basically the sahasrara of my head. वचः स्तोत्र फणितो मम वचः मम वचांसि मम वाचः मम वाक्यानि केवलं तव स्तोत्र फणितौ। स्तोत्र भणति अथवा फणति अर्थात वदति इति। फणितम् इत्युक्ते in the legends. Stotra Phanitau. In only the legends of legends and hymns and eulogies of your grandeur. May my Vakyas always be so. Thus, meaning, may my every single sentence be either in praise of you or your personality or your deeds. करौ करौ मम हस्तौ च अभ्यर्चायां समाराधने मम करौ सदा तव मूर्ति पूजायां तव सेवायां निरतौ भवेताम् इति। श्रुतिः अर्थात श्रोत्रम इयर्स। मम मनः मम मनः तु सर्वदा तव पादाब्जे। मम वचः all my utterances are in your praise. All my thoughts are about you. करौ तथा मम हस्तौ सर्वदा तव सेवायां। तव अर्थात शिवस्य सेवायां मूर्तिपूजायां वा भवतु अथवा परोपकारे वा भवतु अर्चायां भवतु। श्रुतिः कर्णौ कथाकर्णनविधौ तव याः कथाः वर्तेरन् तासां कथानां श्रवणे आकर्णनं नाम श्रवणं। मम श्रुतिः मै इयर्स let they always be engaged in the constant remembrance and listening to of your legends. तव ध्याने बुद्धिः मम बुद्धिः अपि न केवलं मनः अपितु बुद्धिः अपि ध्याने एव भवेत्। ध्याने एव बुद्धिः in meditation, in constant awareness. Buddhi itself means the faculty which is responsible for being aware. It is called buddhi, to be awake and aware. So may my buddhi intellect also be constantly aware of you. Nayana yugalam, and may my eyes constantly constantly look at the vision of Murti Vibhave, and the splendorous form of your divine Murti, maybe a linga or a form with hands, with eyes, or a human form or a abstract form, whatever it may be. May my mind always keep looking at your vision. कैर्वा परग्रंथैः परमशिव जाने परमतः कैर्वा परम परग्रंथान् वा जाने. I do not know of any other grantha. I do not know. I don't want to study any other scripture. I don't want any other philosophy. I do not want to learn any other uh, discipline or sadhana. Kairva. I don't want anybody else's help also. Kairva. Paramashiva. O Paramashiva. Hey Paramashiva. Aham Paramatah Jane. I have understood this ultimately. Paramatah. Ultimately. That aham janami yat no grantha or no other person will ever come to our aid. And what I can do is engage my entirety of my existence, basically the organs of the body and the mind, completely offering them unto you alone. Paragranthan kairva paramashiva jane paramatah. मनस्ते पादाब्जे निवसतु वचस्तोत्र फणितौ करौ चाभ्यर्चायां श्रुतिरपि कथा कर्णनविधौ तव ध्याने बुद्धिर्नयनयुगलं मूर्तिविभवे परग्रन्थान् कैर्वा परमशिव जाने परमतः. May my mind rest at your lotus feet. May my words always be in your praise. May my hands be engaged in your worship. And may my ears always hear your stories. May my intellect dissolve in your contemplation and my eyes in your glorious form. Having done so, Paramashiva, Supreme Shiva, what other faculty do I have left to use for studying or for taking the help of any other great scriptures? What can I do anything else apart from doing all of this? This is the very touching, wholesome surrender that Adi Shankaracharya is offering himself completely to the beloved. So he is actually lamenting in a way that I have no more time and resources or faculties or expertise left to engage in any other sadhana because all of this has been given to you alone, and they have come to be so very well fruitfully engaged in your dhyana alone, in your form alone, that I need find no other sadhana useful to me. यथा बुद्धिः शुक्तौ रजतमिति काचाश्मनिमणिः जले पैष्टे क्षीरं भवति मृगतृष्णासु सलिलम् तथा देवभ्रान्त्या भजति भवदन्यञ्जडजनो महादेवेशं त्वां मनसि च न मत्वा पशुपते. हे पशुपते, महादेवेशं त्वां न मत्वा मनसि जडजनः भवदन्यं देवभ्रान्त्या भजति. So jadajanaha, those who are of a lower intellect, those who are kind of lazy, those who are jadajanaha. The other meaning is who are tamasic. Tamasikas, jadajanaha, those who are completely veiled and shrouded in tamas, in stupor, in sleep, in material things, in just the basic five instincts of sex, survival, food, shelter, and sleep. You can, to keep up the alliteration, we can say supper. So, sex, survival, supper, shelter, and sleep. All the five S's are what constitute any animal or any organism too. So all of this, one who does only this much is called as a Jada Janaha. They are very close to being a Jada. They're very close to being a machine, an inanimate object as well. So such a person, what he does is, he or she, Deva Bhrantya, Deva, hey Deva, O God, Bhrantya, that is one meaning. If you combine both these words together as a Samasta Pada, it is Deva Bhrantya. That is by Maya. Deva Bhranti means Maya because it is the illusory power of God. So, Tatha, by Maya, clouding the intellect, this Jada Janaha will Bhavadanyam Bhajati. He or she seeks to worship and worships and becomes a receptacle for something else, bhavadanyam, by not na matva, by not understanding the true nature of Mahadevesha, that is you, O Shiva. You are the Mahadeva Isha, the supreme ruler over all the devas. When you are there within us, we neglect you and we go seeking something else outside. Bhavadanyam bhajati, he Pashupate. And what is the udaharanam? Yatha tatha. Kim upamatra diyate? Yatha shuktau rajatam iti buddhihi paribhramati. Just as the intellect will think that in an oyster, Shukti is an oyster, the mother of pearl. In the ocean, there are uh, these oysters, small oysters, which we find, which are silverish in color. So from afar, it looks as though those small oysters, which are also kind of uh, coin shaped, they look like silver coins. So that is the bhranti, that is the hallucination or the mistaking of the original, the satya, for something which is mithya. Shuktau rajatam iti kacha ashmani manihi. So in a glass, kacha is glass, ashma is a shard of glass, shard or rock. So in a quartz crystal, one thinks, which is also very common, it one perceives it to be some kind of a money, some kind of a very exotic gem. And jale paishte kshiram. Paishte jale kshiram. In some clouded waters, impure waters, or in a pishta yukta jale, that is in a water which has been muddled with flour. Flour as in rice flour, gram flour, and such flour. There, one thinks it is actually kshira. One thinks that white substance, which is the colloidal solution of flour and water, is actually kshira. But it is not so. Mriga trishnasu salilam bhavati. And just as the buddhi imagines there to be an oasis, salila, in a mriga trishna, in a mirage, in a desert after a very hard, long, toiled day in the desert because of the sun and the waves, something which is very far away, an oasis could be like 5 kilometers away, but it appears so very close because of some refractions. So one mistakes the presence of an oasis in a mirage, how one can. Similarly, by Bhranti, by the Maya, the Jada Janaha, the one who is of a dull intellect. Now, here by intellect, we don't mean being able to crack exams or get a good job or show expertise in a particular skill. Jada here refers to incompetence of being able to be aware of God itself. That is the biggest skill that one should have, but most of us lack. At least I can speak for myself, I lack. So, in such a case, because of this Deva Bhranti by the Maya's power, I am not able to sense in my manas, in my mind, Mahadevesha, the great ruler of all worlds and the conscious states, which is Shiva, who is residing within me as Pashupati, still I make a mistake and I neglect you. Manasicha na matva. I take you for granted and I don't even see you in your true nature, O Shiva, is the lament that Adi Shankaracharya here is making. यथा बुद्धिः शुक्तौ रजतमिति काचाश्मनिमणिः जले पैष्टे क्षीरं भवति मृगतृष्णासु सलिलम् तथा देवभ्रान्त्या भजति भवदन्यञ्जडजनो महादेवेशं त्वां मनसि च न मत्वा पशुपते. As upon seeing a pearl to be a silver coin, mistaking a glass shard to be a diamond, flower water to be milk, and imagining a water in a mirage, the intellect is totally confused. O Pashupati, this stupid guy, that is myself, under the confusion of the gods, which is Maya in my mind, worships someone else, forgetting you, the greatest god of the gods, the ruler. Here, Bhavad Anyam not only refers to other gods, that is, any other god apart from Shiva. Here it is not a phonetic statement, but a statement of absoluteness. That is, everything apart from God is Bhavadanyam. It is apart from God. It could be another god, it could be, some other Indra Bhoga Vastu, or the world, the Loka itself that we see around us. The mind which should by default have been submerged in Shiva, in the Shivatva, is now looking at something else apart from it. So that is the true meaning of Bhavad Anyam. Just as in the Bhagavad Gita, Mattaf Parataram Nanyat Kinchidasti Dhananjaya, when Krishna says there is nothing apart from me, he doesn't just mean that there is no other God apart from me, as is popularly understood. It is actually saying that there is no other vastu at all, no other independent existence apart from me, the Supreme. And the word Supreme itself is misleading because Supreme means then there are different things and then there is one which is the biggest or the bigger, greatest among them. So that is why language fails to truly convey the message of Advaita because there is only one. So you can't really compare or call it even the supreme because it is both the supreme as well as the lowest. It is the highest, the lowest, the largest, the smallest. It is everything itself. So that is Shiva. गभीरे कासारे विशति विजने घोर विपिने विशाले शैले च भ्रमति कुसुमार्थं जडमतिः समर्प्यैकं चेतः सरसिजमुमानाथ भवते सुखेनावस्थातुं जन इह न जानाति किमहो. Kimaho, what a perplexing, bewildering world this is, how paradoxical this world is, because Janaha iha Janaha, that is, here this person, which means he's talking about himself, that is, every bhakta is referring to himself or herself when they are reciting this and says, Jana iha na janati kimaho. What wonder it is that this person cannot even understand, na janati, he cannot even grasp how easy it is to sukhena avasthatum, to easily, sukhena means very easily, very lightly, without much effort, avasthatum shakyate. The to avasthatu means to stand stable, to stand firm. That is, this jana, this person doesn't even know how easy it is to stand firmly established in oneself, having given all troubles and turmoils of the mind as an offering at your feet, O Shiva. It is such an easy task. One can easily unburden oneself by detaching from the mind. But he laments repeatedly that Aho Kim Iha Janaha na Janati. Why is this person, that is, he is referring to himself in the third person and says, this person, this little person, such an easy thing, he is not able to grasp. This is truly perplexing, is what he says. And he compares Gabhire Kasare Vishati विजने घोर विपिने विशाले शैले च भ्रमति कुसुमार्थम जड़मति जड़मति oh this jadamati janaha, this mati whose mati has become jada, whose mind and intellect have lost their liveliness, it has become mundane. Jada is like mundane, very boring, where the mind and the buddhi are now just being used as instruments to feed the ego or to defend the ego or to continue survival and existence. When the true power and uh, innate potential of the mind and intellect have not been fulfilled, have not been realized, it is just functioning as a jadamati. And what is it doing? It is going gabhire kasare vishati. It will enter into kasara. Kasara is lake. Into it will go in even into deep lakes. Gabhire kasare vishati. It will go into ghora vipine vijane vishati. It can even go into ghora vipina, into dense. Vipina is forests, aranyam. Ghoreshu vipineshu gachati. Vijane, it can also go into long periods of vijana. Vigataha janaha yasmat saha vijanaha. So it can go into long periods of complete isolation. Vijana is isolation, where there are no janas, no people around. And it can also go into Vishale Shaile. It can also traverse up the mountains and trek up the mountains of Himalayas and tall mountains. Shaile Brahmati Kusumartham Jadamati. And for what? Kevalam Kusumam Anetum. To get a few flowers here and there. One will even traverse into deep forests or will go deep into lakes or climb up mountains and hills to get kusuma. The word kusuma itself means kutsitam sumam, a very small flower, a very petty flower. It refers to small pleasures of the world. For small scintillations of this consciousness, which we call as pleasure or happiness, we are ready to, you know, embark on very great adventures, braving all difficulties and braving nature itself into forests, into deep lakes and oceans, as well as into mountains. किंतु समर्प्य एकम चेतः सरसिजम उमानाथ भवते. But for getting one flower, when we can do all these things, to give our own flower of the mind. So we also have a flower with us which is called the manas, sumana. Sumana in Samskritam is a very beautiful word. It means both flower as well as that which is of a good intellect or a good mind. It's called Sumanaha. That's why Suma. So Sumana itself, our chetas, our heart, that is our core of the being itself, is the most beautiful evolution possible. And that Samarpya Ekam Chetas Sarasijam. So that Sarasija is like a lotus, which is the lotus of our minds. If we are able to samarpya, if we can as an offering, bhavate tubhyam aham he umanatha sampradadami, tarhi aham etat eva pushpam dattva aham sukhena tisthami, aham chiram sukhena eva jivami. I will be so happy having given you and offered my manas itself to you. I can now rest completely in silence and uh, in tranquility. But we are not able to do that. because it is too hard and we are too attached to this one flower of our minds that we cannot give it so easily away to anybody else. Let alone, I mean, falling in love with another person itself is very hard. Very, it's a lot of suffering and hardships. To dedicate our lives to a particular cause, to an ideology, to our families, to lay down our lives for a country itself is such a humongous task. And when that is the case, so basically in each of these, we are laying down our minds. What does it mean to give our minds away to someone? It means to no longer have any reminiscence of any uh, remnants of the mind which will care for us. That is called giving it away to somebody else, right? So if I give 100 rupees away to somebody else, how is those 100 rupees given? Because I am no longer left with even a paisa of that 100 rupees. Then that is complete dana. So that is called complete samarpana. I have nothing more left with me. Otherwise, it would not be 100 rupees, right? Then I have nothing more left in the mind, no space left to care for myself. This thought of what will happen to me, what about my career, what about my health, my medicine, my meal for tomorrow, etc. All of that has vanished. Every single thought which comes in my mind is now only of Shiva. If that is the case, that is when metaphorically, figuratively, I have offered the mind flower to him. Instead of going into all these dense forests or going into deep lakes for meditation or going up the hills in search of caves, he is subtly hinting that all of that is not necessary. One can just give this flower of the mind to Shiva. And it is not a very terrible thing as we believe it is, because actually speaking, from our perspective, even love is very horrifying. It is too dangerous. We hold ourselves back even in love. Even amongst when we are loving somebody else, there are certain boundaries that we draw, and it is healthy. So we stop at a certain point. We say this much and no more else. Because then, if we still continue to keep giving and giving and giving despite not getting anything back, that is a sign of true madness. So, such madness is actually required even in bhakti. That is and to give our mind flower completely away to somebody else or something else, and most of all, of course, here it is Shiva, is a very hard thing we feel. But he says it is the easiest thing. Sukhena avasthatum jana iha na janati kimaho. गभीरे कासारे विशति विजने घोर विपिने विशाले शैले च भ्रमति कुसुमार्थं जडमतिः समर्प्यैकञ्च तस्सरसिजमुमानाथ भवते सुखेनावस्थातुं जन इह न जानाति किमहो. This ignorant mind which wanders in the deepest waters, can roam in the densest deserted forests, can climb the vastest mountains seeking to find a flower. Does this one not know to remain blissfully calm by just offering the one mind lotus to you, O beloved of Uma? Alas, how sad this turn of events. Anybody would like to add something?
Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha.
Namaste.
Namaste. Can we just go to this one, like meaning the summary slide? So I joined in between.
This one?
Yeah. Okay, this is an expression of giving a solution. Why not? Okay.
Correct.
Got it.
Correct.
Right.
नरत्वं देवत्वं नगवनमृगत्वं मशकता पशुत्वं कीटत्वं भवतु विहगत्वादिजननम् सदा त्वत्पादाब्जस्मरणपरमानन्दलहरी विहारासक्तं चेद्धृदयमिह किन्तेन वपुषा यदा यदि हृदयं मम हृदयं if my heart iha in here atra तव त्वत् पादाब्जस्मरणे परमानन्दलहर्याम् एव विहार आसक्तं तर्हि किं वपुषा किं वपुषा वा तेन किम् इति अर्थात यदि मम हृदयं सर्वदा शिवमयम् एव अस्ति शिव पादाब्ज स्मरण paramananda lahari by the constant recollection of Shiva. That is, see, when will we actually properly recollect something? When only we have lived through it, right? I mean, there are cases when even if we have lived through it, we are not able to recollect because of some trauma, etc. That is a different matter. But there is absolutely no case in the world where we can actually remember a thing if it has not happened in first person experience with us. That is, if I have not met Donald Trump, I cannot remember my meeting with Donald Trump, right? It has not happened in my life. So there is absolutely no way I can recollect it. So this is a very subtle point. He says, if my mind is always able to even recollect and reminisce the reminisce your your holy feet, which will lead to Parama Ananda Lahari, which will lead to waves of unceasing uh, cascade after cascades of bliss, Ananda Lahari. And in that cascade, if I can surf on those waters of happiness and bliss and ecstasy, Asaktam, if the Hridaya can do that, then what does it matter? What does it matter? Whether I have the Vapusha, Vapush अर्थात देहः देहः यदि नरः देहः भवेत् अथवा देवस्य देहः भवेत् अथवा नग अथवा वन अथवा मृग मशक पशु कीट विहग इत्यादि जननम what does it matter if my body is of a human or of a god or of a tree or of the forest or of the mriga of a domesticable animal of a soft animal or a herbivore or a mashaka or if it is a bug or if it is a pashu if it is uh, cattle if it is kita it is some worm or some unicellular organism or if it is vihaga if it is the bird what does it matter what kind of a deha I have if my hridaya sada तव स्मरणे एव आनन्दलहर्यां विहरति तर्हि किमपि देहेन केनापि देहेन किमपि कारणं प्रयोजनं नास्ति इति. So this is very beautiful, and why I wanted to emphasize this point of smarana is because this true smarana, when we keep saying nama smarana, anyobhayam, etc., what we are forcefully doing by doing this japa is it's a forceful effort, it's a strenuous effort, and maybe by force of habit later on it may not take as much effort. But true smarana happens in the bhaktas only after the first experience, the actual experience of God, they say. So first there should be the experience of God. Only then can the mind keep recollecting such a blissful experience. Otherwise, just thinking of the form of Rama or Krishna, Shiva, whatever, Devi, it is, though the terminology used is still called Smarana, Nama Smarana, it is actually truly not. It is, you could just say it is a japa, where the mind is putting an effort to uh, do it again repeatedly. So it is talking of a supreme state where the bhakta has already had the sakshatkara of Shiva. Shiva in both his saguna and the nirguna aspects. In such a case, there is parama ananda lahari. Then there is absolute overflowing bliss, cascades of tides and tsunamis of happiness coming along. It's washing off the shore. In such a tsunami, also the mind can still enjoy and take a bath. It can swim. If that is the case, truly any of these body doesn't matter, what the body is, whether it is female, male, if it has female genitals, male genitals, if it has trans hermaphrodite genitals, what the orientation is, LGBTQ or heterosexual, homosexual, if it is god or asura, if it is a unicellular organism, multicellular, truly speaking, none of this matters if the mind has been absorbed. And thus, this shloka is very prominent because it brings in a sense of meritocracy. You know, it puts an end to all discrimination based on body. Because all discriminations actually are based on body. If you just look at it carefully, race is on the color of the skin, caste is on the birth of the body, and the profession that the forefathers and foremothers were doing. Then there is gender, of course, based on the genitals. Then there is a language which the body speaks. Then there is a religion which, all these religious marks which the body wears, and which community it belongs to, which uh, kind of a temple or religious place it goes to, which Hajj or Yatra it does. So all distinctions can only be of the body, while this moksha sadhana is of the mind, of the manas, and therefore there can be no distinctions. And uh, all these examples are quite extreme. I mean, of course, no fly will ever get moksha, at least in my perspective. But he says, even if I be reborn as a fly, a bug, a mosquito, as a bird, or a tree, or a forest also, or as a deva, or an asura, or nara, whatever be the case, I don't care. Now I have achieved complete fulfillment. This is the most beautiful, most equality bringing kind of revolutionary shloka, which puts an end to all discriminations. What are your thoughts? Okay, so let's go ahead. नरत्वं देवत्वं न गवनमृगत्वं मशकता पशुत्वं कीटत्वं भवतु विहगत्वादिजननम् सदा त्वत्पादाब्जस्मरणपरमानन्दलहरी विहारासक्तं चेत् हृदयमिह किं तेन वपुषा. I'm assuming there are a few people in this class. So, is Usha Arya there? Can you please read this? Usha Arya? Astu. Is anybody else there who would like to read and chant this?
I'm here, but you can carry on, please. Thank you.
Okay. Astu. Be it as a human, as a god, as a mountain or as a wild animal, as a tree, as a bug, as a pet or an insect, or as a bird. If this one heart is always willing to swim in the supremely ecstatic waves of remembering your holy feet, O Shiva, what difference does the body or birth make? This is really the crisp summary of this shloka. अग्रे गच्छामः वटुर्वा गेही वा यतिरपि जटी वा तदितरो नरो वा यः कश्चिद्भवतु भवकिन्तेन भवति यदीयं हृत्पद्मं यदि भवदधीनं पशुपते तदीयस्त्वं शम्भो भवसि भवभारं च वहसि. In line with the previous two shlokas, it again is elaborating on all the different discriminations and different phases of life one may be in. So now in the previous shloka we talked about if the janma itself is in a different body, what happens? If the nature, if Prakriti has herself put different tastes, different qualities, different organs in a particular body and different interests and inclinations, it doesn't matter is again what the previous shloka said. Whereas now this shloka is saying it doesn't matter what phase of station of life one is in. Let's look at it. Vatuhu va. Be here. Vatu. Vatu arthat brahmachari. Vidyarthi iti. Gehi. Geha is grihastha. Geha arthat griham. सः गृहस्थी वा गृहस्थो वा भवतु सा वटुः वा भवतु यतिः or have they taken up sannyasa? Yes, then so be it. If they have taken up sannyasa or if they are leading a householder life or as a vatu or as a brahmachari, whatever it is, or he can be a jativa, not just a yati as in one with shaven head, but a jata, one who has done tapasya for very long, tad itaro, or somebody else, whatever the other different possibilities, different cases are. Naro va yaha kaschit bhavatu. Be he a man or a woman or whatever, yah kaschit bhavatu, whoever he may be, he or she. Bhava, let him be, hey Bhava, O Shiva, kim tena bhavati, what does it matter? What does it matter? Kim bhavati artha, what does it matter? Which phase of life one is in? Yadiyam hrit padmam, yadi bhavadadhinam asti, हे पशुपते यदि यस्य कस्यचित् वा मनुष्यस्य पुरुषस्य स्त्रियाः वा हृत्पद्मं the flower of the mind or the flower of the heart, if it is completely offered, if it is under your control now, bhavadadhinam, and like I've already elaborated, it means, of course, there is no Shiva who will come and seize your heart, but willingly one who has decided to only think, dedicate, and lead a life which completely revolves around Shiva. And you can substitute Shiva with whatever your favorite deity is, or if you choose to believe in an abstract god, be that as it may. So, whatever the case is, as Bhagavan, as the higher tattva, if it is in the adhina, if it is controlled, if it is in the ambit of God, तदीयः त्वं शंभो तदीयः भवसि, you will verily become his or hers, meaning if one chooses to become yours, then you become theirs. It's not an unequal love affair. If the jiva wants to become a part of you or to completely surrender to you, then you also will completely become theirs. Meaning, they will now be able to put on and off the state of samadhi and be in contact with you. Just as we can put our net on our mobiles and choose to chat with someone as and when we like. Similarly, so is the case with the other person. So, similarly, When one has become so close with another, they have become part of each other. Tadiyaha tvam shambho bhavasi. And then what do you do? What benefit is there? So what about this little jiva who is struggling in life? Then bhava bharam cha vahasi. Then because now this is not like a servant of a police officer or a government official who is looking up and licking the boots of the boss. It is not so. Because if that were the case, then the boss would never become the servants. Do you see that? The employee will always look up to the employer, be it an organization, an institute, or a person, the boss, whoever it is. But so it is a one way street where the work, energy, resources are extracted, sometimes even exploited from the employee unto the employer, right? So here that is not the case, is what he's telling, between the Jiva and the Ishvara. The relationship here is not that of a an underling, a subordinate, and the boss, because once when the jiva decides to completely give itself to Ishvara, Ishvara also will decide completely to give itself to jiva. Therefore, they will become equal, which is basically the idea of Aham Brahmasmi. And Tadiyaha Tvam Shambho Bhavasi. You will become theirs, O Shambhu. And then what do you do? Because now the Ishvara is equal to Jiva, then it no longer is suffering through life uh, unavoidable. It becomes avoidable. It becomes a choice. One can pretend to suffer like many of the avatars have, or one can, just wade through life and be carried away on the Garuda or be carried away on Nandi to some different loka too. Metaphorically speaking, of course. So what it means is they will just easily skim through life, all the hardships of life, because now the mind has completely gotten absorbed in the ultimate, in the vast. It does not have any interest, personal interest to achieve, which is the cause of many of the trouble, turmoils and tribulations of life, is it not? When we have a center from working, then there is a concern of to keep protecting this boundary. If this is what we call as Sudarshan, if this is my boundary, these are my limitations and these are my skills, these are my current conditions, this is the coordinate I am in, coordinate of life, I am at this X position, at this Y position, and so on. So then there is a constant effort required to keep this in place, to keep this intact. And because there are external entropical forces which are trying to destroy it or pull it down or constantly harm it and cause it decay and death and old age and breakups and all all different kinds of problems. So then there is an effort required to keep it afloat. But now that the jiva has chosen to limit himself or herself to the point of a point, then none of these forces can ever work on it or him or her. This is the beautiful idea. And to become a point, Adi Shankaracharya says it doesn't matter which phase of life, which responsibilities one is holding, or if otherwise one is not even holding any responsibilities, it doesn't really matter. Any of you would like to comment, remark, highlight, or tell your own experience or points?
None. Please carry on.
Astu. Let's all sing this together. वटुर्वागेहि वा यतिरपि जटी वा तदितरो नरो वा यः कश्चिद्भवतु भव किं तेन भवति यदीयं हृत्पद्मं यदि भवदधीरं पशुपते तदीयस्त्वं शम्भो भवसि भवभारं च वहसि. Be he a child, so take he or she. Be he or she a child, a householder, a monk, a saint, or something else, or existence itself, that is, he's talking to Shiva. What does it matter what a human is? If his or her heart lotus has become yours, O Shambhu, then you become his or hers and take care of all worldly needs. अग्रे गच्छामः गुहायां गेहे वा बहिरपि वने वाद्रिशिखरे जले वा वह्नौ वा वसतु वसतेः किं वद फलम् सदा यस्यैवान्तःकरणमपि शम्भो तव पदे स्थितं चेद्योगोऽसौ स च परमयोगी स च सुखी. Once again, we have seen how it doesn't matter what the janma, what the body of the bhakta is, whether female, male, this gender, this religion, that religion, which in this country, that country, doesn't matter. Secondly, we have seen it doesn't matter what the body currently is going through, whether it is going through yauvana or adulthood or vardhakya or is now fed up and have taken up sannyas, it does not matter. Now, it doesn't matter even about the vasati. Now, no longer is there a question of the vasati. Vasati means the abode, the dwelling. Where is the body dwelling in? He says, Kim vada phalam. It doesn't really matter. What use is there? Tell me. He says, Kim vada phalam. It doesn't matter whether this body is in guhayam, if it is sitting in a cave, gehe, in the graha, that is in the house, bahihi api vane, it could be outside in the market or in the vana, va adri shikhare, adri is mountain, giri. Adri shikhare, maybe that body has chosen to climb up the hill to be in a spiritual retreat, doesn't matter. Jaleva, the body has decided, see, now I'm going to do Jala Samadhi, takes Jala Samadhi and go sit in the water or try to hold my breath underwater and gain control over the breath, doesn't matter. Vanhi or some, asuras had the strength to actually sit surrounded by fire, by blazing fire all throughout the year, bearing all the seasons and braving through nature, doesn't matter. Vasatu, wherever the body can live or dwell or get habituated to, doesn't matter. Kim vadaphalam. Kim phalam, what is the use? Sada, what matters actually, he says, Sada yasya eva antahkaranam api he shambho tava pade sthitam. Yadi yasya antahkaranam, anybody's antahkarana, again it keeps going back to the same point, that the mind or the heart, if tava pade sthitam, if it has come to reside in your feet, at your feet, and again feet again means the sahasrara, the supreme state of infinitude. If the mind has reached that position, in Kannada we also say padavi, and it is very close to related to the word pada. It means a state. If the mind has gone into a state of yourness, of Shambhu Shivaness, Shivoham, then yoga asau, then that state itself is yoga. That itself is yoga. And such a parama yogi, he or she itself is then the greatest, the most powerful of the yogins or the yoginis. And okay, if you're not even concerned about the title of it being a yoga or bhoga, whatever, just he says, understand that such a person truly, such a mind truly is the one at ease, sukhi, at rest, which is totally peaceful. And therefore, he says, it doesn't matter what externalities are. One can choose to go up the mountain, one can choose to go and do pranayama and all that. One can choose to be in the market. One can choose to be at home. One can choose to go into a cave. All these, of course, are metaphors to choosing different lifestyles. So the abode, the dwelling, dictates the lifestyle. Regardless of what the lifestyle is, if the mind can be absorbed into that supreme altitude, then that itself is called the Parama Yogi. And actually, nobody needs to give us that label and give us a certificate that, yeah, you're a yogi. It doesn't matter because one is anyway sukhi. One is already at ease and at rest. This is very important because I think we had Shantarya in one of her previous, um, one of our Bhajagovindam episodes where she was very talking about the same. Am I right? You were talking about how it is not necessary to, take up sannyasa because there could be responsibilities, and doing these responsibilities, one can still, lead a sacred life.
Yeah, it was something similar.
Right.
Yeah, there was one verse saying, leave everything and sit below the tree. And
Ah,
yeah, that was the reference in Bhajagovindam.
Satyam, Satyam.
Because everything like Parishan, nobody remembers or once this like Atma leaves the body. So in such cases of when it is known why to just do anything but leave everything and sit below the tree. That was the gist of that particular shloka. For that, Shantaji has said like, yeah, as a samsari, how can we do that? That was the thought came out, and Shantaji clearly explained it.
Correct, correct. Wonderful. Usharya, I was just calling up, beckoning you last time. I mean, if you can please sing this verse, it would be really great.
I was on another call, so I got.
Okay, okay.
So this is a 12th, right? Okay. Kuhayam gehe va bahirapi vane va trishikare. 12th, right? Yeah. Jale va vahno va vasatu vasatehe ki vadafalam sada yasyeva pantah karanamapi shambho tava pade stitam chetyo gosau go asau sacha paramayogi sacha sukhi.
Samishino. Dhanyavada. A quick summary. Be it in a cave, a house, outside, in a forest, atop hills and mountains, water or fire. Let one's abode be anywhere. What does it matter? For if just one's entire inner being, which is called antahkarana, is firmly fixed in thy holy feet, again, it also means a state. If it is fixed in a samatha state, that itself is yoga. And then he or she becomes the greatest yogi. She or he is the happy one.
Can I share one of my
Yes, yes.
personal? Yeah. There was a situation where our Guruji told, why don't you accept going to abroad? Initially, I used to say that I'll go abroad. But he said it is not the time. It's not suitable for you. But he was not clearly saying it won't be nice. But once when the situation of he go over there, he said you will not be there. Then wherever I go, it is the same kind of people, whether it is in America or in Australia or any place.
Very
But
true.
place where entire family comes to you unitedly and get the Guru Kripa, then it doesn't matter whether I'm here with all entire family members. So the same thing goes whether we are in the Sahara desert or the top of a hill or beneath the Bay of Bengal, which is the deepest of all. But if we are not happy, or if you are happy and you are secure with the entire your people and all with the Guru Kripa and Bhagwan Kripa, how does it matter even if we are in a complete luxury and everything, but the meaningless or otherwise, goalless life?
Absolutely. Beautifully said. Yes.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ. Uh, I don't know if anybody has raised their hand. I'm not able to see the window, so this is another kind request. If you have anything to speak up, please just unmute yourself and ask or tell. समीचीनम्. अग्रे गच्छामः. असारे संसारे निज भजन दूरे जडधिया भ्रमन्तं मामन्धं परमकृपया पातु मुचितम् मदन्यः को दीनस्तव कृपणरक्षाति निपुणः त्वदन्यः को वा मे त्रिजगति शरण्यः पशुपते असारे संसारे निज भजन दूरे अस्मिन् निज भजन दूरे संसारे असारे मां जडधिया भ्रमन्तम् अंधं परमकृपया पातुम् उचितं खलु is what he is asking. Now here begins a shloka where he is kind of not demeaning or self-denigrating, but then that is what bhakti does to us, because then it makes us feel very small, and we ourselves want to feel very small before our beloved. See, even when parents take care of their children, right? Though the father could be the most powerful person, richest man, and the mother could be a well accomplished PhD holder and wonderful, so many accolades, a Nobel laureate maybe, still their child, before their child, they will bow down. In a sense, they may not literally touch his or her child's feet, but they are bound to the orders of the child. They are bound to looking after the child and fulfilling its wants. So what is a person who fulfills others wants called? A servant, right? So in a sense, though they could be very well accomplished and running business empires, and they could be business tycoons or politicians, whatever, before their child and their, I mean, a child is an example, but before the loved ones, before their beloved, they willingly, they lovingly become very small. They become insignificant. They want to make themselves insignificant. They'll say, "Oh, you want this? Okay, bhai, okay, beta, I'll give you this. Oh, yeah, you scolded me. That's all right," and so on and so forth. So this is just an example where a person, even of great immensity and uh, accomplishments, will still want to make oneself small before the beloved. And here, when the beloved itself is Ishvara, when it is Shiva, the personification of all dharma and adharma, of all cosmic laws itself, one must inevitably make oneself small before the tall, huge mountain that is Kailasa. So he says, Asare samsare, this entire samsara around me is asara. It is waste. It's a waste. It's a meaningless drudgery. Nija bhajana dure. And it is so far away from what is Nija bhajana. It is so far away from my own personality. It doesn't suit well with me. This cruel, evil world is demanding me to also become evil, and it is very against my personality. Sometimes I, out of helplessness, become evil to others or act evil to others, and it becomes a vicious cycle therein. So nija bhajana dure, it is very far away from what my true personality is. Yet jadadhiya, because of my dulled intellect, which is not able to be aware of Mahadeva, of Shiva. And by the way, here again, let me repeat, Jadadhya doesn't mean a person who is illiterate or ignorant. Ignorant of the supreme God is called being Jada. So the mind which has only soaked in survival and the five S's that I spoke of is what is called a Jadadhi. So such a Jadadhiya Brahmantam. It is just wandering, like a merry-go-round. It keeps going around and round and round in this whirlpool of samsara. Andham, and because of that, there is, I mean, one can be blind and still go on the merry-go-round. It doesn't need a person, it doesn't need vision to go around or, in a mechanical manner. So one is andha also there. You need vision only when you have a choice to take a different path, right? Because then you have to look at the different paths and make a judgment and choose a different path. You need vision for that. But if you are just going on one trajectory for all 10,000 janmas, it doesn't matter if one is blind or has vision. So if one is andha in that sense, parama kripaya patum uchitam. And so you should now take care of me. Patum means to take care of me. It is uchitam. It is appropriate that you take care of me. Why? And with great kripa, with a lot of compassion, you should take care of me. Why? Mad anyah ko deenah. Who can be more deena, more dependent than me? Tava kripana raksha ati nipunaha twadanyah kaha. And I tava deenaha asmi. I am totally dependent on you because now that I am andha, I am blind. I don't know where to go myself, and I don't have the proper the intellect, because it has been dulled by looking after my own survival for all these years. So now, and I am surrounded by not good people, not good circumstances. All adversities of life have come and bitten my back. So now I am going around and round in some like like a sheep following another sheep. So now it is most appropriate that you come to save me with a lot of compassion. You should definitely make some time out from your busy schedule of dhyana in Kailasa to come and help me, because madanya kodina, who else is more dependent on you than me? Because I have nothing else for me going on in life. So you are the only thing I can depend on, O Shiva. And you, who are you? You are Kripana Rakshati Nipunaha. And you people have told, I mean, oh my God, they have sung your praises again and again that you are Kripana Raksha Ati Nipunaha. You are most skilled Ati Nipunaha in Kripana Rakshana. In your, you can protect and guard and save any miserly person, any person in misery. If that is the case, and there is nobody else who can do it better than you, tvadanyaha. So the dullest of the students requires the most skilled of teachers, right? To always teach him, because no other teacher would be have the patience enough and the technique enough to teach and uplift that last bencher. So it requires the principal or someone with really good experience to even uplift him and bring him to the stage of passing marks. So if you are the case, it is the case that you are that teacher and I am that last backbencher, then it is of course very logical that only you should come to my rescue. Kova me trijagati sharanyah pashupate, he pashupate. Asmin trijagati, in these three worlds, bhur bhuva suvaha, in all these three worlds and these three states of consciousness, there is no other sharanyaha. Kova me sharanyaha. Who else can I approach? Who else will this poor little backbencher go? If he goes, he will not be able to understand from any other teacher, because they don't have that patience and expertise to help him. So finally, that last backbencher goes to the supreme teacher, and so I have come before you. So he's actually giving a logical justification to why God should come and help me at this moment. And so, all such wonderful cleverity, smartness, and logic. Even this is not something very new. It is not something that only people who are mad with some, they're bored of life and they're doing all these stotras are doing. We also do it in our own little ways when we have our loved ones before us. Before our beloved ones, we will, all the mothers have made all these stories, can cook these stories up. The parents who are dependent on their children will start making some stories, emotional stories. Or if it is the child who is dependent on the parent, the child will make up all these stories, give some justifications and all that. It is very human. to do so. It is not wrong, we are not judging it. But this is how he connects with the Supreme by saying, I am the most deserveful of need, of contribution, of aid, and you are abundant in all resources. So we are a great match for each other. So please come down, O Pashupati. Kripaya Gayatu, Ushare.
हाँ सही असारे संसारे निज भजन दूरे जडधिया रमन्तं मामन्धं परम कृपया पातु मुचितं मदन्यः को दीनस्तव कृपण रक्षाति निपुणः स्त्वदन्यः को वा मे त्रिजगति शरण्यः पशुपते.
Sushtu. Any comments, any remarks, opinions you want to add? Is it not appropriate on your part, O Pashupati, to take the utmost pity and protect this blind man, referring to himself, or us, that we, the chanters, who is roaming in this tasteless asara? Tasteless, there is no joy at all in this mundane world, which is far removed from your love, with this dulled intellect. Is there anyone whose predicament is more pitiful, woeful, and fit for your compassion than mine? And is there anyone who is more suited to protect and extend refuge to me than you? We are the most toxic couple ever possible, because I am the most needy and you are the most fulfilling. So we make a great match. प्रभुस्त्वं दीनानां खलु परमबन्धुः पशुपते प्रमुख्योऽहं तेषाम् अपि किमुत बन्धुत्वमनयोः त्वयैव क्षन्तव्याः शिवमदपराधाश्च सकलाः प्रयत्नात् कर्तव्यं मदवनम् इयं बन्धुसरणिः. Again, repeating the same logic, he says, Tvam Deenanam Prabhu Khalu. You are the Lord of all the Deenas, right? All the dependents. You are the supreme independent person who everybody depends on. You are the strong support, the skeletal framework of this universe. See, just as in our own family, there will be one person, either the father or the mother, who will stand as the backbone. They will not be very emotional with us, but we can always depend on them. They're always reliable. They're always steadfast, even among the children. Even among friends, it is the case. They may not come to all the parties and share or drink with us or make merriment, but if I have a problem, I can be assured that if I go to him or her, I will get it solved. So there are such people in our lives too. And now Shiva, is of course such a person for the entire universe, for all dependents. Prabhustvam Deenanam Khalu Parama Bandhu, and you are that relative we all go to always, the greatest of relative to always depend on. And Aham Tesham Pramukhyah api asmi. I am of those dependents. I am also the leader of those dependents. In what sense? I am a leader in the sense that I need the most help now. I am most dependent now. Kim uta bandhutva manayoho. Oh my God, how beautiful this bandhutva is between both of us. That I am most needy and you are most providing, most caring. त्वयैव क्षन्तव्याः शिव, हे शिव, मद अपराधाः, मम अपराधाः सकलाः च अपराधाः त्वया एव क्षन्तव्याः. I am not going to go to the justice system asking for a plea or a pardon. I will go to you, O Shiva, because you are the greatest and you can deliver most justice to everybody. And therefore I shall confess all my aparadhas unto you, and thus unburden myself and my mind of all misery and all sins that I have committed, all blunders that I have done all throughout my life, so that you, who are the most merciful Almighty, who is like a bandhu to me, who is like a friend, like my dearest relative, my dearest companion. You will Tvayaiva kshantavyaha. So I beseech you, O Shiva, please pardon all those sins of mine. Prayatnat kartavyam madavanam. Mad avanam, avanam. Arthat avanam nama rakshanam. It's a very special word in Samskrta. Avanam means rakshanam. Mama rakshanam prayatnat kartavyam. I know you don't like want to help me because I am very needy. You have different matters to attend to. You have your own wife to, who is at your behest, willing to serve you food, and she's pulling you to the kitchen always because you are always, stuck in your own samadhi. And then you have your mount. You have to wash your nandi. You have to listen to the music and woes of your ganas. And I am in the last of that queue. I have no influence over you. I have no person who knows you who will help me cut the queue and come quicker. I have to wait till that last person, like in the queue of Tirupati, who is standing there for 3 4 days, waiting for his turn. So I am there, but now because I am going to wait all that while, it is now your duty, kartavyam prayatnat. You should make an effort, O Shiva. See, it is it's like a baby talking to the mother. Ah, nee ಮಾಡ್ಲೇಬೇಕು ಅಮ್ಮ. You should do it. Why? Because I am going to wait. I'm going to wait for janmas and janmas together, only seeking you and confessing all my sins unto you. ನೀ ಮಾಡ್ತೀಯ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಪ್ರಯತ್ನಾತ್ ಕರ್ತವ್ಯಂ. Iyam Bandhu Saranihi. And this is the vow, Saranihi. This is the oath that you should give me as a Bandhu, as a relative, as my close companion, my friend, my best friend. Can you please take this oath that you will see? It's so, though I'm making, putting a humorous tone to it, emotionally, it's a very subtle thing, very wet, heartwarming thing when one can truly say this verse to oneself and say, there is nobody else who I am going to depend on. Now it is only you, Shiva, that uh, you must take care of me, and I shall confess all my wrongdoings unto you. And so, please, it is your duty. And this is the oath of this bandhavya, of this relationship between the Jiva and Ishvara, that you should do rakshana, you should protect me in all circumstances. Really touching emotion is brought out, though in a very humorous, childlike way. Do you guys agree? What do you guys think? Do you feel that all these verses are stroking some emotion in you? Is it emoting something? Are you feeling any bhakti at all? I mean, it's a long process, but still, do you feel any scintillations of bhakti, of welling up of emotion?
Namaste. If you have faith in God or faith in yourself or faith in your own Atman, whatever, some kind of faith, that faith is always there with you constantly to support you. That has been my personal experience. And I lost my partner 3 days ago.
Oh, Om Shanti. Hmm.
It was the most peaceful experience that I ever had. I had promised that I was going to hold his hand, and not let him die alone. And every step of that process, somebody was with me. And when the actual last breath was going to happen, just five, maybe 10 minutes before, one of the young doctors, he came along. I don't know why he came at that particular time. And he asked me, do you want me to stay with you or do you want me to leave you alone to be with him? And I said, you can stay and you can get the experience of your life because you have got a long way to go. You can stay. And he stayed with me or with us. And it was like a God sent son who came to stay there with us to support each other. Wow. And I have come home and I have never cried. I have never, that kind of support has been given to me by my faith, whether it is God or whoever. And everybody has been wondering, what's wrong with you? Why aren't you crying? So like that kind of situation. There's no need. There's absolutely no need for you to cry. And in fact, one should celebrate that kind of situation. But what I'm trying to infer here is that there's going to be some invisible power going to be with you constantly to support you. That is only if you trust yourself and you believe in something. But if you have got your own negative emotions and negative belief, nothing is going to help you. Wow. That has been my personal experience. And really sorry to hear about the sad news, Om Shanti. No, it's a sad news, but at the same time, it's a good news in the sense somebody didn't have to suffer. Correct. We are all so selfish. We want somebody to be there for our selfishness, not consider other people's situation. So if you think logically, if I wanted somebody to survive with me, at what cost? So once you learn to accept and once you learn to let go, that is mukti. That's moksha. Moksha not only for yourself, is for the other person too. Correct. Really, really beautiful. Shantaji, yeah. Truly, that there are two sides of it, and we learn a lot from your experience and also your thoughts. And for the Atma, we just pray for its Sadgati. And yeah, one part is crying. It's totally an emotion, and it need not come just because we have to show it to someone. Yes, we have lost it, but it might come, as you said, when that young doctor came and you witnessed that the faith, the belief which whom on you have put in, and that has shown, manifested in that form, it might come as Ananda Bashpa. Correct. That is a tear of joy. That he's there, he was there, and he's there, and he's always be there. Only thing is, our indriyas cannot perceive. But only your perception should be ready to perceive and accept something. But if you're ignorant about things, you don't perceive those things at all. Correct. Yes, material, this one, yes, we totally require, we are a social being, and we totally, living alone, of course, is a one part. That's the another, this one, accepting the fact that we are always alone, and the journey is lonely. So its only thing is who's the only companion is the Bhagavan, which as we are occupied with the Maya Jala, Maya, this one, Mahamaya, we cannot perceive it that easily. But once we perceive it and then accept that fact, and the things becomes a different way of life. Very and, true. We pray. We are already a stronger being, Shantaji. We learn a lot from you. You don't require any of our consolence or something like that. Dhanyavada. Dhanyavada. Really touching. Let's read it again. Usha Arya? Yeah. I have one point in this actually. It is something like, prayatnat kartavyam. Like it's like emotionally blackmailing the Bhagavan. Do it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, request and a demand in the form of a request.
Correct.
So it appears like it reminds of one incident, like this one Veerappan's spokesperson was giving an interview to this one like uh, then when they had already abducted Dr. Rajkumar. They was telling like, please, you do this. So please, you do this, then only we'll release. So the please was one only something to say that they're requesting, but it is not requesting. Do this is actually a demand over there. It's the form of it. So that's Deenanam is the one word, but Pratnam Kartavyam is not duty. It's like it's a demand. Yeah, I'll just read it out. Prabhutsvam Deenanam Khalu Parama Bandhu Pashupate Pramukyoham Teshamapि Kimuta Kimuta Bandhutva Manayoho Tvayaiva Kshantavyaha Shivam
Shiva Madaparadhaha.
अपराधाश्च सकलाः प्रयत्नात् कर्तव्यम् अथवा न
Madavanamiyam.
No, what is the Shabda breakup here?
Mat avanam iyam. Mat avanam iyam. Madavanam iyam.
Just okay. Madavanam iyam bandhu saranihi.
Dhanyavad. Really well pointed that sometimes in bhakti, and we shall see this quite often, the bhakta takes the privilege and liberty of conversing like a friend, sometimes insulting, sometimes making sarcastic comments, sometimes demanding. Yes, that happens, and it's a very wonderful. That is also very ecstatic to witness and emote. O Pashupati, are you not the kind emperor, the dearest relative who sympathizes with his pitiful subjects? I am the foremost amongst those subjects. So, where is that acclaimed, alleged, sweet relationship between us? O Shiva, only you can forgive all of my sins and transgressions. And you should effortfully cut down the forest of ego. Now, if you see this word, Madhavanam, Mada Vanam. It can be split as one Mat Avanam, that you have to protect me. The second word is Mada Vanam. Mada is, of course, pride of the ego. Vana, it has grown like a forest, and yet I am heralding as some great king, some great scholar, some great merchant, or some great, social worker. It is not so. It has grown like a forest, a thick forest. So prayatnat kartavyam. In Sanskritam, the beauty is there are two dhatus which both have the word kartavyam itself as its tavyat pratyaya. One is kartavyam as in duty that you should do, that you should do my protection of. Other one is kartavyam is you should cut it down. You should cut down the forest of my pride, and this shall be the oath, the promise that you shall give me as the bandhu. This is the other pand shlesha alankara, the other meaning of this word kartavyam madavanam. And the other meaning is my deliverance, which is avanam, is your dutiful responsibility. And only in this way shall our relationship, the bandhutva, be fulfilled, be reciprocated. उपेक्षा नो चेत् किन्न हरसि भवध्यानविमुखां दुराशा भूयिष्ठां विधिलिपिमशक्तो यदि भवान् शिरस्तद्वैधात्रं न खलु सुवृत्तं पशुपते कथं वा निर्यत्नं करनखमुखेनैव लुलितम्. उपेक्षा नो चेत्, किम नहरसि भवध्यान विमुखां दुराशा भूयिष्ठां विधिलिपिं यदि अशक्तो भवान. So what it's saying is, you shirah vaidhatram suvrittam kara nakha mukhena eva lulitam. You tore off the face, one of the heads of Vaidhatra, which is Brahma, which was so round and full of itself. I'll tell you the story. So you pulled out with your bare hands, with your nails of your hands. You didn't even require an ayudha for it. Niryatnam, effortlessly you just pulled off the head of Brahma. And then, is it then so difficult for you to erase the writings of fate from my forehead? This is the idea. So let's read how it materializes into this meaning. Upeksha no chet, if it is not that you are neglecting me, if it is that you truly care for me, look how demanding and how possessive this bhakta is of Shiva, and it should be deservedly so. So he says, Upeksha no chet. So he's trying to prove that you are doing Upeksha of me. That is the implied meaning, that you are strong enough to erase the vidhi from my head and make me become your bhakta and you can come into my life. If it is written in my forehead that I can never do your dhyana, but because you are so strong enough to just pull out the head of Brahma, the fifth head of Brahma itself with your bare hands, and with your teeth, you just pulled it out with your claws and with your fangs. Then, is it so difficult for you to erase the Vidhi Lipi? No. Then, the only conclusion, therefore, I should draw is that you are doing Upeksha of me. You are neglecting me, which is not right. It is not right, oh dearest Shiva, is the meaning. Upeksha no chet, if it is not that you are neglecting me, Kim Naharasi, Harasi here means erase. Can you not erase? Naharasi, Kim Naharasi, why are you not erasing? Bhavadhyana vimukham durasha bhuyishtham vidhilipim. Why are you not erasing the vidhilipi which has written in my fate to be always a durasha bhuyishtha, to always keep hankering after durasha of after gluttony, after lust, after unwanted and ill-intended desires. Why is it written in my fate that I should always be seeking this? And why is it written in my fate to be vimukha, to be away from doing your dhyana? So one thing which is written in my fate is durasha, that I always go after the wrong things. Secondly, there is no dhyana in me. There is a deficit, there is a lack of dhyana, there is a bhuishtha, there is an abundance of ill desires. And this is the fate in me, which maybe Vidhi has written it, which Brahma, who is called the Vidhi Natha, the Lord of Fate, who has written, let's say he has written it. Kim ashakto yadi bhavan? Are you so impotent? Are you so, powerless to remove this, to erase this lipi? Seems like not, because you, Shiraha Tad Vaidhatram, that one entire head of this Vidhilipikara, which is Brahma itself, Suvrittam, which was so large, He Pashupate, Niryatnam Karam Nakamukhena Lulitam, you have culled it, you culled out the head of Brahma, Lulitam means to be culled out. Niryatnam, without any effort, you did that. Now you are saying it is very difficult to meddle with my fate, and you are saying let karma take its way. Yeah, all your punyas and papas, let it happen. So this is the complaint and sarcasm that the Shankaracharya is so lovingly and kind of in despair putting before Shiva. Did you guys understand? Are you able to appreciate the poetic emotion behind this?
Yeah, here again, he's praising and also complaining.
Yes, yes. Nindastuti, Satyam.
He praises, it's so easy for you. You are such a big person. And is it difficult for you to erase my this one, like whatever is written on my forehead? It's like making him compulsive. Like such a person and do it.
Satyam, yes. And in trying to say that you just your bare hands and nails and your fangs, you just pulled out the head of okay. I promised to explain the story. So what happened there was kadachit jagati jagatah srishti purvam brahma asit saha prajapatihi. He is the creator of all creatures. सः कस्मिंश्चित् दिने सन्ध्या इति आदिमे सूर्यं चन्द्रं रात्रिं दिवं च सृष्टवान् ससर्ज तदनन्तरं सन्ध्यामपि सृष्टवान् he also created sandhya, the dawn and the dusk parts of the universe of the day. Sandhya Ativa Sundari Asit. So this is a metaphor, of course. So don't take it very literally. So Sandhya literally means the dawn and dusk. It's just very beautiful. That is why we always do Sandhya Vandana or any dhyana, spiritual retreat or japa. It is advised to be done in at dawn or dusk because there is a natural sense of sattvika, the sattva rasa, which boils up within us, which bubbles up within us. So that Sandhya was so beautiful. Ativa Sundari Asit. सः एषः ब्रह्म आदौ पञ्चमुखवान् आसीत्. He had 5 heads before to start off with. चत्वारि मुखानि वेदान् अरचयत्. पञ्चमं मुखं च सृष्टिकार्ये निमग्नम् आसीत्. तदानीम् एतां सन्ध्यामपि सृष्टवान्. सर्जनानन्तरं सन्ध्यायाम् एव मोहितः अभवत्. ब्रह्मा सन्ध्यायामेव मोहितः. He got enchanted and charmed by सन्ध्या. तदानीम् एषः सन्ध्यामेव अनुसरन् ब्रह्मा सन्ध्यां चतुर्मुख पञ्चमुखो ब्रह्मा सन्ध्यामेव अनुसरन् ताम एव अनुपालयन् अनुवर्तमानः सर्वत्र जगति अटितवान्. He started chasing Sandhya all throughout the universe out of Kama Vashena. He wanted to possess Sandhya because it was so beautiful. He wanted to possess Sandhya and have a fling with her. So here again, it is Sandhya because it is in Stilinga. It is usually a metaphor for a lady. And Brahma, of course, is a Pullinga Padam. Don't take it too literally, which is what many of the Christians have done, and they try to belittle our faith by saying, see, your creator itself went behind his daughter. So that was the very first instance of incest, and all such very ugly, vulgar statements they make. It is a metaphor, and we people are so stupid enough to actually believe it. We think, oh, maybe it is written because first of all, we don't read, and secondly, even if we read, we don't understand the metaphor. And we think, oh, it is very literal that, yeah, Brahma created a daughter and he started lusting behind the daughter. It is not so. It is a metaphor. So, Brahma, the creator, the source of creation, wanted to understand and be with the creation. So, that is the metaphor. Just as you say, tadeva srishtva tadevanu pravishat. The creator, it's not literally a man, it's the force which created this universe wanted to experience it because it was so enthralling, it was so beautiful, and the creator wanted to experience the universe and therefore it entered it. That is what the Upanishads also say. Similarly, a very Puranic take on this story is that Brahma went behind Sandhya. And seeing this, people, I mean, Sandhya got kind of very embarrassed. So she said she went to different gods to pray and stop her father from coming, from, chasing her. She had great respect for her father. And then, no, I mean, all the gods were also sons of Brahma only. So what can they do? They are powerless before this creator. So then they finally, Sandhya went to Shiva. And Shiva said, okay, let me put an end to this. And so that mukha which created the universe, the Panchama mukha of Brahma, he held with his hands. He tore open the skull of Brahma with his bare hands and fingernails, and he just bit into the head and he like a Rakshasa, he just pulled it out. And that is when in the story goes on that he had the Brahma Kapala in his hand because he kind of had the Brahmahatya dosha, and that head became a skull and that stuck to his hand, and so on and so forth. The Purana goes. The episode here which he is referencing is this, that he was so powerful, the destroyer of the worlds, that he actually could meddle with creator itself, the creator itself of the universe, this agency of creation, and behead him. If that is the strength he possesses, of course will he not have the strength to meddle with fate which was written by this creator, which was destined by this creator. And if he is not doing that, if it is not that he is not powerful, then the only other reason that one must infer is that he is neglecting us, he is ignoring us. Is it not your negligence alone why you do not take me away from this abhorrible samsara? This samsara, which is the abundance of dirty desires, from your love and contemplation, and which has turned me away from your love and contemplation. If it is not your negligence, is it that you are incapable? How then were you able to easily cut off even Lord Brahma's large desire head from this creation with just your fingernails? It's a like Arya pointed out, this an example, a classical example of Ninda Stuti, where you are both you're stutifying, you are praising as well as commenting or critiquing his power. Virinchirdi. Okay, I didn't read this, I think. Arya, कृपया गायतु.
उपेक्षा नो चो चेक्तिं न हरसि भवद्धान विमुखा दुराशा भूयिष्ठा विदिलिपि वशक्तो यदि भवान् शिरस्तत् त्वयिधात्रं न खलु सुवृत्तं पशुपते कथं वा नित्यत्तं करनखमुखेनैव लुलितम्.
धन्यवादः. विरिञ्चिर्दीर्घायुर्भवति भवतु भवता तत् परशिरः चतुष्कं संरक्ष्यं स खलु भुवि दैन्यं लिखितवान् विचारः को वा मां विशद कृपया पाति शिवते कटाक्षव्यापारः स्वयमपि च दीनावनपरः. Virinchihi, that is Brahma, the creator Brahma. Dirghayur bhavatu, may he live for 100 years. Look at this, the Bhakta, the creation, is saying, may the creator live for 100 years. Dirghayuhu viranchihi bhavatu. And this is again very sarcastic. It says, Bhavata tat parashiraha chatushkam samrakshyam sa khalu bhuvi dainyam likhitavan. So what he did is, because you cut off his fifth head, he got scared. And tat parashiraha, whatever the remaining four, chatushkam parashiraha, whatever the four remaining heads he had, samraksham, he has to protect it, right? He has to save his other four heads at least. So saha khalu, and for that what he did was, bhuvi asmakam bhutale dainyam likhitavan. He put dainya in all our foreheads. He wrote that all of us should become dependent. Why? Vicharah kova mam vishada kripaya pati shivate. He Shiva, mam kova vicharah vishada kripaya pati. What other vichara am I capable of doing? Vichara means spiritual inquiry can I do, and what will protect me? Vishada kripaya pati shivate kataksha vyaparaha swayamapi cha dina avanaparaha. So now your kataksha vyaparaha te tava kataksha vyaparaha. Kataksha is the, if you have the look, if the eye is here, it is sakshat vyaparaha. It is looking directly. And when will you look sideways? When you will give a side glance? You will give a side glance when there is a person of lesser interest or of lesser stature or who is not as important, but still you want to look at him. So that is what is called kataksha. Kata is towards the end, corner. Aksha is eyes. Kataksha is something where we turn our eyes uh, indifferently to look at someone and kind of acknowledge their presence at least. Kataksha vyaparaha. So at least do that much to me. Swayam apicha dina avanaparaha. Because even this very vision of your eyes coming to the end of the corner of your cornea and looking at me itself is dina avanaparaha. Itself is enough so for protecting me, for Avana, the Dina of the Avana, the protection, the safeguarding of dependents like me is enough. So I am not asking too much from you. I cannot do any vichara, all this vimarsha, dhyana, dharana, and all that. So at least look at me by your side glance, and that itself is enough, sufficient to uh, protect me and give me redemption from this samsara. And why? How is that related to the first two lines? He says, because that is Brahma is telling, because I got my head chopped off, and now I have become dependent on others in the sense that if we had five, let's say I have four arms and one of them was chopped off, I am not able to do all those duties which I was able to do with five arms, correct? So in a sense I am dependent on others, that it is dainyam. So because he wanted to exact revenge in a subtle way, but also wanted to show to Shiva that, yeah, you are still the Lord and you can protect all of us. So he wrote Dainya in our heads. Follow this logic. So he writes Dainya externally to show that, yeah, Parameshwara, you are the greatest of all, and everybody should come and seek you, and they are your slaves, and you are the master. That is one external reason he thought of. And the subtle reason which the Kavi here is saying is because he became Dina, he wanted to put, kind of the bullied wants to bully the other, right? One who got ragged in school will in the next year become the ragger. So he put Dainya in all of us. And he is sarcastically said, let him live for 100 years. Dirghayuhu bhavatu for doing this. Now, because of that, vicharaha kovamam vishada kripaya pati. Because of this dainya in me, that Brahma, see, it is not my own fault, it is Brahma's fault, which has led me to not have the intellect and capability and self sufficiency to do vichara and think about all Advaita and all this Vedanta thoughts. So, now what am I going to do? I am not going to do anything. You just give me a side glance. That's all, is the prayer. Let's look at the written summary. May that Lord Brahma live long, bless him. After losing his fifth head to protect his remaining four heads again from being cut by, he wrote sorrow into the world so that his children of the world. So the other meaning is here that his children of the world, which are the creatures of the world, do not get enticed by creation like he got enticed by creation, which is the reason why he got his head chopped off in the first place and face the same fate as him. What logic is there to this? Had he lost his mind? He is kind of asking, O pure Shiva, your gracious loving glance alone is healing to the meek. May such glances fall on me and protect me. Dirghayuhu virinchir bhavatu. Do you guys understand? Do you have any other interpretations of this?
Yeah, this appears to be more of conversation with the Bhagwan himself. So all kind of um, rasas are cooking and then giving on instances.
Correct.
Still say that okay, you have done this. Now you do it for me. And all as I said, whatever the lopa in me is because of here the blame is to Virinchi. Then you bestow me with your Shama. No, Kataksha.
Correct. And in a way, now that you make this point clear, Arya, actually, when I just realized that probably he's putting externally the blame on Virinchi, but in a way, he's also blaming back Shiva only for cutting his head also. Because had Virinchi not been cut with his head.
So he's not directly blaming Shiva.
Yeah.
Because he has to get his Kataksha.
Correct.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like, Virenji is done. So put the blame on him, and then you better give me this. At least use the load rest of the four heads. If you take that similarly in my perspective, I have only one head, so it is better to give Kataksha. You gave a Kataksha to the rest of the head, but I don't have any other head to get Kataksha, so it's better you give to one head which is
yes. Wow, that makes quite sense. Yes. Give Kataksha to me because I don't have the privilege of having other heads.
So it's better you give with this head only.
Correct.
It's already debunked. Like otherwise, it's not Prabuddha. So it's better you give.
Right. Like you said, it's a very wonderful, loving conversation between two friends or Bhakta and Bhagavan. Yes. Okay, we'll do one last shloka and then we can wrap this up. I'm very sorry for the miscommunication. We will have one-off classes. I will always in prior inform when the classes will happen. Sorry for the mishap. धन्यवाद. फलाद्वा पुण्यानां मयि करुणया वा त्वयि विभो प्रसन्नेऽपि स्वामिन् भवदमलपादाब्जयुगलम् कथं पश्येयं मां स्थगयति नमः सम्भ्रमजुषां निलिम्पानां श्रेणिर्निजकनकमाणिक्यमकुटैः. This is a slightly intricate figure of speech used here. Phaladva punyanam mayi karunaya va त्वयि विभो प्रसन्नेऽपि स्वामिन् भवत् अमल पादाब्ज युगलम् कथं पश्येयं मां स्थगयति नमः सम्भ्रमजुषां निलिम्पानां श्रेणिः निज कनक माणिक्य मकुटैः. So the figure here, the imagery he had drawn here it's again quite intricate. Hey Vibho, hey Swamin, O Master, O God Almighty, what has happened is Phaladva Punyana. Maybe I have some punya in my previous janma, and as a result, phala of that punya, let's say it is written in my fate that I will get your darshana. Okay, so I have somehow made it to, let's say, Kailasa. You're there, sitting in your usual dhyana, and I have some phala of the punyas with me from previous janma, and maybe I have this opportunity. Athava mai karunaya, or maybe you only decided by your your karuna samudra. So maybe you took compassion on me and said, okay, let me come to this jiva. Va or tvai prasanne, or maybe you were yourself in a very joyous, very exuberant mood. You just started walking and you wanted to, on your path by mere coincidence or by chance, maybe I would have met you, right? Because you're doing Tandava all across the universe. Because when you're Prasanna, he does Ananda Tandava, right? He just goes around every nook and corner of this space, of this entire cosmos, and he dances. Maybe I would have got that opportunity when you had come before me to have your darshana. But what happened? Bhavat Amala Padabja Yugalam. Or maybe I could have touched your feet, Amala Pada, your blessed, blemishless feet, your holy feet. the pair of this holy feet, I could have touched or at least seen. Katham pashyayam, I could have seen. But Katham, how is it possible? What has happened is now, see, either I had an opportunity by my own efforts, or maybe you only intervened and gave me an opportunity, or because of pure coincidence and sheer chance, I could have touched your feet and seen your feet at least. But what happened? Katham sthagayati mam. They all stopping me. Sthagayati. Who are stopping me? Sthagayati means to stop, to halt, to prohibit. Sthagayati. Who? Nilimpanam Shrenihi. There is an entire crowd. There are rows and rows of who? Of devatas. Nilimpar devatas. All these bhaktas, muni, rishi, varyas, yakshas, kinnara, kimpurusha, devas, all of them are together called as Nilimpa, means divine creatures. Those who are doing namas sambhrama jusham, and they are not just standing peacefully like a soldier army. No, no. They are all dancing jusha. They are all happy and celebrating in sambhrama. They are all celebrating by giving you, like they are hailing you. They are Namah Parvati Pataye Hara Hara Mahadev, and all this shouts and chants they are doing, and they are jumping up and down, up and down, and all their Nija Kanaka Manikya Makuta, they're all wearing kiritas, they're all wearing glistening crowns and tiaras. All of them are wearing long kiritas, all the devatas, all the Gandharvas, and all. You have seen in all these devotional films how big their kiritas are. Sometimes it's bigger than the face itself. And they're all Kanaka, they're all golden in color, so they're all shining ablaze with studded gems. Then what is happening? First of all, they are shouting. I can't even hear you. Then they are all dancing up and down, up and down. I can't see you. They're clouding my vision. They are coming in the way. And then to add salt to injury, their Kanaka Makutas, Manikya, all the emerald and gem studded kiritas are shining. So I can't even get a glimpse of your form. uh, though I have made it so far to the Kailasa, or you have given me an opportunity to come and witness your feat, I am now being stolen. I am being robbed of your vision thanks to all these devatas before you. Again, one other instance of Ninda Stuti, which means Stuti in the sense that you are so great that all the Nilimpas, every godly and Asura creature has come before you to dance and joy and bear witness to your Prasannata. Whereas it's a Ninda in the sense I curse my fate and I curse your compassion and your odd timing, because now, though you have given me an opportunity, I cannot have your darshana in this huge crowd. This is the very humorous meaning brought out by this shloka. फलाद्वा पुण्यानां मयि करुणया वा त्वयि विभो प्रसन्नेऽपि स्वामिन् भवदमलपादाब्जयुगलम् कथं पश्येयं मां स्थगयति नमः सम्भ्रमजुषां निलिम्पानां श्रेणिः निजकनकमाणिक्यमकुटैः. आये गायतु.
फलात्वा पुण्याना मयि करुणया वा त्वयि विभो प्रसन्नेऽपि स्वामिन् भवदमल पादाब्जयुगलम् कथं पश्येयं मां स्थगयति नमः सम्भ्रमजुषा निलिम्पानां श्रेणिः निजकनक माणिक्यमकुटैः. धन्यवादः.
Even if by chance, through the fructification of my punya, or by you taking pity on me, or when you are in a delightful, pleasant mood and decide to show me your taintless holy feet, how will I? How can I? Because in the midst of this flashing, dazzling splendor and radiance, from the glowing, jewel embellished crowns of the gods who are prostrating before you, first before you, Alas, your feet are once again lost to me. I am not able to even gaze upon your holy feet. It happens, right? Even in all these oval politicians' offices, there's so much crowd that we hardly get to meet the politician for asking a favor. And forget that, even in temples, so many important vyaktis come before the Garbhagriha, and we who would have been waiting in line for so long, we poor laymen, the moment we think we are going to get the darshana and somebody else will push us off. So this is very like what will have happened if even we got an opportunity to truly witness Shiva, but were uh, heckled by the crowd of devas who have first come there before me to have his darshana. Now you can actually take this in a very microcosm meaning too. That is, within ourselves, Shiva is of course Atma, and there are so many structures of the body and the mind which have penetrated deep into the Atma, that this little consciousness of ours, this little awareness of ours, has to wade through so many layers of security and of Maya to before it gets a glimpse of the Atma. First of all, there is the Anandamaya Kosha, correct? The subtlemost sheath, which is, you could think as the closest companions of Shiva. See, if Shiva is the Atma within, the first layer of crowd around him is the Anandamaya, all the closest relatives and friends of his first circle family. And then there is the Vijnanamaya Kosha. There is, so this in our body refers to, Anandamaya refers to the blankness, the void of sleep, of deep sleep, the void which we experience in coma or in anesthesia, or the void when the split second of voidness, that emptiness which we experience during pleasures of orgasms or any other pleasures in our life. That one split second itself, where we actually get the ananda, so-called ananda from the bhogya vastu. That split second is the state of Ananda, Anandamaya Kosha. Then there is Vijnanamaya, which is holding guard. It's the second, the far cousins of Shiva, which are the subtle, which way is called Vijnana, the special Jnana, the special experience. Only people with special equipments and meditational techniques can experience this sheath because it's crowded by the inner mechanisms of the psyche. The structure of how the mind itself is built is in the Vijnanamaya. That is the origin of the Ahankara. How Ahankara comes into place, how the I think in software terminology, the code, the machine code, which is interpreted by the only the machines, that is the Vijnanamaya Kosha. Then there is the Manomaya Kosha, where we currently are, at least we think we are. That is in the state of accepting information, processing, and reacting. The action reaction of with emotions, with memory, with intellect, and all that happens at this state. Then there is outside the pranamaya kosha, which is the web of all the nadis, all the subtle nerves and neuron endings, which keeps the creature alive. So all the reproductive, all the mm, digestive, nervous, excretory, and locomotive systems in biology that we learn, all of that comprises the pranamaya kosha, and the outermost is the annamaya kosha, where the consciousness is in the body, where it is able to perceive the external surrounding, and it is able to feed in the food from outside. It is able to procure and feed in the food, digest and grow the body. I would say, at least I am at this stage where we are in physical consciousness. So there are so many more sheets, So metaphorically, so much crowd is there before we get to Shiva. We'll have to pass through all these crowds, and each of them are shining with Kanaka and Manikya. All these are very precious commodities of the body and of the living organism, which are reverberating with the energy of Shiva, which therefore we are not able to have truly the darshana of Atma, the Atma Sakshatkara itself. This is one other microcosmic understanding, interpretation of the shloka. Okay, any questions, anything you want to add or remark? Please do feel free to do so. Astu, then we shall meet in the next class. I shall inform in the group when the next class will be kind of erratic. So apologies in advance for that. As and when I can make time, I will take these classes. Astu, Aneke, dhanyavadaha for all of you coming and attending these events. Dhanyavadaha.
If you announce the class at least about 12 hours, 24 hours before, it would be, you know,
Okay.
I just happened to wake up a little bit early and I just picked up the message.
Oh, okay. Astu, Ari, I will try to do that. Yeah.
This is morning time for me, and this is morning and breakfast time for me.
Okay.
Basically.
Okay. I'll try to inform a little earlier. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Dhanyavadaha. Dhanyavadaha. Namaste.
Dhanyawada.